this game felt like this kind of what we talked about earlier, but like this game felt like this kind of embodied our season as a whole, the up and down nature of it. Offensive looked like abysmal first half. It wasn't until the last drive of the first half we actually looked decent again. We got points on the board finally. Second half, kind of, up and down. And then it wasn't the fourth quarter is when we really like put it on them, or third quarter is when we really put it on them. The offense kind of like broke out of it. And it just seemed like it was really poetic. And the most poetic part of it, and we talked about this, is the unsung hero aspect. And I want you to talk about it. The guy you never gave up on. Two guys actually never gave up on. MVS,
yes,
Mecole Hardman. MVS scores a touchdown. We only have two passing touchdowns. It's to MVS to Mecole Hardman. Hardman gets the game winner, of course. And that picture there, which is a beautiful picture of him and Pat meeting in the end zone. And then MVS catching the touchdown and also having multiple catches on that final drive to get us to the end zone there. Yeah. You never gave up on MVS. You actually said you wanted more Mecole Hardman snaps. Two of the guys that you've been all over, not all over in a bad way, but all over is kind of praising them and saying, let's get them the rock. Let's stay on these guys. Let's never not give up on these guys. You're one of the few voices in the Chiefs kingdom who actually said, let's, don't give up on MVS. Don't give up on these guys. I believe in them. Right. You never went away from those guys. And they stepped up when we needed them the most. JD, talk about the unsung hero aspect of tonight.
All of that has to do with like really being in the locker room and understand perseverance. And you understand what the pressure guys go through week in and week out. We in seeing this, for a guy that's getting paid as much money he's getting, there's a reason he's getting paid that type of money. Okay. And I don't think it for us to abandon him early on in the season because he was having such a bad year, dropping, not understanding maybe where Pat needed to be. I had to give him that growth area, that period of understanding where guys in the vision where they needed to be. To me, it didn't make any sense to take somebody as talented as MVS, okay? And he had criticism early, rightfully so, but we also know that he has came up big for us in the past playoffs. Chiefs sought for him in off season a couple of years ago to get him here. And they seen something in him. So he has ability. I knew that. But more so than anything else, as a player in the locker room, you just know guys' hearts. Nobody wants. I know he didn't want to drop balls. I know he didn't want to run the wrong route. I know these things bothered him. Okay. Yeah, maybe he went up there and he didn't have one of the greatest of press conferences and he kind of brushed it off. It rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. I understand that. But to me, when you're relying on yourselves and each other in the locker room, and you see a guy work every single day, and I'm sure he was putting in the work that he needed to do, maybe not early on, but later on it started changing, right? You started hearing, hey, we're coming in early. There's things we're doing differently. Things, Nagy had to do was like, condense the offensive playbook, to keep what these guys could do right. And so those things were important. That's why I really didn't want to give up on MVS. I just couldn't throw him to the wolves and just bypass him. I can't just move on from this guy. He can do something. I always said it. He can do something. He can block. He can do something. And we're going to make sure he does something. Same thing with Mecole. Mecole was a guy that I thought was very important to come here when he wasn't looking so good up there with the Jets. Jets was wasting his talent. I thought bringing him down here was something that they needed, who was very familiar with him, knew Pat, knew the offense. You could just plug him in and he's ready to go, right? Same terminology, known that ever since he's been here with the Chiefs. And he struggled. He got hurt, all those different things, right? Not necessarily his fault. People get hurt all the time. It just happens in the course of the game. But I wanted to see more from him, throughout. And it took Pat and it took Andy, those guys, to sit there saying, we are not going to abandon you guys at all. And that was very important. That was important for those guys to know. Because when you do have somebody like a quarterback or maybe Travis Kelce, like MVS is saying Travis Kelce was the bad guy, right, coming in, or Reed, hey, that breaks guys' confidence. You ain't going to get nothing out of that guy. How you going to motivate a guy that you're just down on, right? If he's getting it from out here, all the noise from outside, he starts getting it from the inside. Let's just say your family. You start getting it from the inside, that's when guys become, there's almost no coming back, right? There's just no coming back. So that's the reason I never really wanted to band it up on those guys. Just like I said, man, from kind of being a player. But, oh, man. I'm just excited right now. I know I'm talking a lot. I just
You're
my
good, man.
mind blown, man. Oh my gosh, my mind is absolutely blown. I mean, you talking about we sitting over here watching this, but
Mecole Hardman. Obviously, game-winning touchdown. I don't know if you call it game on it, but score the game winner in overtime. Which I don't know if anybody else. I'm curious in the chat there. The clock's ticking, going to 7-5, 7-6, 5. Like, wait, what's going on here? Because Nance never explained how the double overtime rules are. So Teja and I were like, oh, we'll probably get the ball back. We'll probably just start up the second overtime, and we'll just have the ball right there. Like, I mean, they never explained that to me. I had no idea what was going to go on there. But anyway, it didn't matter. We scored a touchdown right there with Hardman. But Hardman, game-winning touchdown. Hardman comes up with a bomb to catch the ball in the beginning of the game. The 52-yard, pretty much our only offense we had in the first half of that game was that bomb. But then we fumbled on the next play. But Hardman steps up there. Hardman, guy who was left for dead in New York. They traded him for nothing, like peanuts, and a bag of chips to us. He comes to us, has a pretty, not really, but kind of a mediocre, 5-6 games with us. Mm-hmm. Fumbles the ball in that Buffalo game. We don't really hear from him ever since. After that, I think he was. I don't think he even played in the Baltimore game. And he comes out tonight and he's getting all these catches, getting the bomb, getting the game winner. I mean, it was so symbolic to have Mecole Hardman hit the game winner. And I'll let Teja speak this a little bit because him and I were talking off air about it. But Tyreek Hill made a comment a couple days ago at the NFL honors about how, seeing us go to 2 in a row and how like those are his guys, and he kind of like, I don't know if he didn't say he regrets it, but you can tell there's a little bit of regret there. And seeing his guy Mecole Hardman, who they're friends, get to score the game-winning touchdown because he wanted out of New York. He didn't like his role there. We brought him in. A lot of Chiefs fans are pissed off about it, but he excelled when we needed him the most. We didn't have Sky Moore. He didn't really play. Tony was a healthy scratch. That's probably done. But Mecole Hardman steps up and scores the game-winning touchdown. Just really poetic, man.
To put in a scale of like normal like people and not like professional athletes, like I mean like normal people, I mean like normal jobs that make normal wages, not billions and millions. Imagine like you leave your company for like a good payday. Like they give you, not double, but you're making 100K at your job. They give you like 120. You're like, all right, sorry guys, I gotta go. Imagine that company selling to another company, and then everyone in the company gets these fat ass bonuses, and they just get paid out. I'm done, out. That's kind of what it is. Like you're sitting there going, I wish I stayed there. That would have been nice to retire early and just be bank. But that's kind of how it was. And again, how much is it worth it? I'm never going to say, a guy I feel like you need to do for his family. But at the same time, every time we win now, it's going to be he has to think about where he should be, where he would be, right? And to miss out on 2 rings, man. 2 rings. Guys don't make it to the Super Bowl twice in their life. He's missed out on 2 rings. I mean, yes, things could have been different. I don't see why Tyreek Hill would have hurt our chances in these last 2 Super Bowls, but you never know. Weird things happen. I don't know, man. It's insane, honestly. And
well, you also talk about like different players' legacies. If he stays on the team, because right now his stats, he's trending towards Hall of Famer. He probably will be Hall of Famer. He's got a Super Bowl ring already, but you add 2 more to that. But who knows? I mean, who knows? We will get there if we don't ever get those picks that we acquired from the Tyreek trade. So.
Yeah, we wouldn't be as balanced. I'll tell you that much.
No,
we would not be as balanced because this defense, man, they are keeping us in it tonight. And again, it was like our season. Our defense kept it in as long enough for our offense to be like, shit, wake up. Like, we're about to lose this.
What I loved about this to end the season this way, I don't know if anyone else is a big Hard Knocks fan, but I like watching Hard Knocks. I don't really care who the team is. I like watching. I like that our team's never in it since the 04, 05 year, whatever it was.
Me too.
Yeah, but I like watching it. And that was the beginning of the year. It was the Jets Hard Knocks. Mecole Hardman was on the Jets Hard Knocks. Mecole Hardman was asked by the fortune teller they brought in before the year. He was the one they asked about Super Bowl. They said, what do you think the projected score is? He thought about it, and the guy was like, oh, well, you're going to play the 49ers, and the Jets are going to win 31-21. Well, the Chiefs won 25-22. Mecole Hardman ended up being on the team, and Mecole Hardman scores the game-winning touchdown. And I just think that's, I mean, I just like, I don't know, things were meant to be, I guess. I don't know. I'm out for one with fortune tellers, but I don't really mess with that juju. However, it's honestly like, what do you think of the Mecole Hardman? Just to kind of his redemption as being one of the unsung heroes. We're gonna get to the other guy in a second, but I want to talk about Mecole Hardman right now.
I'm so happy for him, and it's the one benefit to making a lot less in the NFL. You could just kind of be traded back to your old team. I mean, Hill, even if they wanted to, it wouldn't be as easy as like, yeah, you want Hill back, man? Like, oh yeah, let me just clear $30 million out of our cap and we can just take him on. No, like it's not that simple. But Hardman's contract was that you could just bring back for whatever 6th, 7th conditional pick. It's great, right? I'm just so happy for him that he got a chance to come back. He saw the grass. The grass is not greener, even if the logo is in New York. But the grass isn't. It's kind of hard, and it feels like hay, and it sucks to mow that lawn. It's really big, right? It's a lot bigger. We got more opportunity. But did you? Like, you weren't catching 5 day balls there. Catch your 2 balls. You caught 3 balls in the Super Bowl. You caught the longest pass in the Super Bowl, and you caught the game winner. And you were almost with a bad team this year. No offense to the Jets, but that's it's awesome. I just you can't write that stuff, or maybe you can. And this is all scripted. What the NFL script writers, do they include Hardman's storyline in this whole thing? Like, I was like a really small subplot for it. They're like, you know what, this Hardman guy, let's give him something here.
That fortune teller Hard Knocks do something.
Longest Super Bowl of all time. Naturally. And then 7th longest game I read of all time. So we had a few longest of all time, 2 longest field goals of all time, which is pretty crazy. Actually, I couldn't believe something more than a 55 wasn't kicked before today. That's crazy. And then longest Super Bowl. So, hey man, we won and the NFL won because this is a treat to watch. It kept everyone down to the last 3 seconds. It was like a cliffhanger of a show, though. We were all sitting there wondering what the hell happens at 0-0-0.
Yeah, Nance did a horrible job explaining that. I mean, he didn't actually go over it.
Yeah.
I do want to bring up, obviously, if you guys see the bottom of our video viewers, obviously you see the picture of Mahomes hugging Mecole Hardman after the game-winning touchdown. I just think that photo, I may have to go get that framed and put it next to my, Jet Chip Wasp photo that I have in my hanging in my room. That's got to be up there. I mean, that's just so special. Like, yeah, it's a 2 guys hugging each other. I mean, 20, 30 years time, my kid may ask who the hell is Mecole Hardman? Who's Hardman? I don't know who that is. He's not a household name by any means. He won't be in the Hall of Fame, but like, no, that guy was traded in the middle of the season to us, back to the team that drafted him, to score that game-winning touchdown. In a year that was probably one of our worst years ever.
Crazy. One of our worst years ever. We're going to be, let me say this too. We're going to be so much better next year as far as on paper. I can't say what their end results are going to be because you never know. Obviously, by this year, everyone thought we were going to be out and we weren't. Obviously, we won. We're in. But on paper, we're going to have even less holes next year. And we keep saying this every year. This was the year to beat us. This is the year to beat us. It's like,
this definitely was. I mean,
yes,
it was probably the most vulnerable we've been in some time.
Yeah, more so than the year before, because when the year before was happening, everyone was really waiting for our defense to really crumble, right? Because it's really young. They got a lot of undrafted guys. I don't think they're going to do it. Oh my God, this defense is legit. And then this year it was like, this defense is legit. And then it was our offense, which had a lot of holes. It was like, ooh, okay. So the defense caught to the offense, and the offense has problems. Well, if my homeboy takes that restructure and distributes that money around, and we get another receiver in here, and we don't have to rely on like miracle games from some of these guys on a regular basis, then oh boy.
Yeah. Going to the other person, the unsung hero, a guy who I've made comments about how his nickname is gone from MVS. That's what everyone calls him. A lot of the big Chiefs Kingdom contingency was calling him MVS in the middle of the season after some of his drops that he had. And then I coined the phrase and called him MVS with the way he stepped up in the playoffs so far. And today he stepped up. There was maybe a play here that he had a little mishap at the end of the game where he caught the ball that went back 5 yards. Like, wait, what the hell happened? And then he caught the next one, got made the 8 yards back, and then some. And then obviously, he had the touchdown at the beginning of the game, wide open touchdown. But MVS, man, a guy who has taken probably the most criticism of any player on the team. Obviously, contractually, he's been made fun of how much he makes on our team, his lack of production that he's made in the year. But as JD said, there's more to MVS than just, being a receiver. He can block. He's one of the best blocking receivers that we had. And based on the way our offense was second half of the season, very important. And he can take the top off defenses too. So defenses kind of have to be mindful of him. He came out, man. He gave us a 0 burger last year's Super Bowl. So I was very scared to even bet on MVS tonight. But MVS came out that, if you look at his numbers, not the sexiest, 3 for 20, a touchdown. But Mahomes only threw 2 touchdowns, guys. Mahomes threw a touchdown to Mecole Hardman, and he threw one to MVS. And those two guys, as much as people want to hate on both those guys, and they've gotten a lot of hate, they came in, they stepped in, and they came up big when we needed them the most. And, yeah, you look at our receiver room, not the sexiest. No, it's probably, if you look at just looking at all production as well, look at that. It's a bottom 10 receiver room in the league. But guess what? Didn't matter because those guys came up and stepped up when they needed to. Mecole catches the 52-yard bomb in the beginning of that game. MVS is catching passes that he would have dropped 4 weeks ago. I mean, that's what it comes down to. These guys started to catch the ball.
5 and 6 and 7 and 8 weeks ago. Yeah.
So, yeah, MVS, unsung hero. Mecole Hardman, unsung hero. Teja, thoughts on MVS and his play tonight, man?
Great. That one play where he went back, which was awful. He would have like 3 for 25 if he would have just sat down. He pulled like a D-Rob going the opposite way when he catches the ball. So good bounce back. He did what he needed to do. I still don't know if he's worth that contract, but I thankful that he did what he did. He's had a good run. He's caught some extremely important balls. His most important ball of the season was the Ravens bomb. And he caught that. And then Justin Watson threw for 54. He dropped the one that he kind of sat on and it was a tough catch. I'll give him, I'm not going to say it was a total botch job. It wasn't a Tony job or anything, but it was a drop, but he 354. Our guys showed up, man. Pacheco didn't do as well on the ground, but 6 for 33 catching balls. Noah Gray looked good. Look at a little mini Kelsey yet again out there. And then obviously Kelsey. I was happy for MVS to still score a touchdown. That was a beautiful ball by Mahomes. I think more of a beautiful ball than Mahomes. But like I said during the game when we were watching it, yeah, but I mean, he's dropped that ball this year. So I'm happy he caught that. We can't for our season, I'm not taking any friggin' receiver route and catch for granted. Yeah, I'm happy about every single catch they give me. And if you just catch the ball, we'll probably win the Super Bowl. And that's what they need to tell people in training camp. Like, just show the parade and show the confetti coming down and be like, when you catch the ball and our defense plays well, this happens. That's what you need to do.
They said we simplified our offense after the Raiders game. They went back to the basics. And, yeah, I mean, basics when it comes to football is catching the football. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.